Okay, it's time for the big announcement, so don't go anywhere. Hi everyone, this is Tigner Adventures. My name's David and my wife Ninette and our little cat Tansy. We live full-time in our motorhome and it is time to leave. We have been work camping for the last 6 months at Sundance RV Resort in Yuma, Arizona. Now, this has been during the winter, which we tend to think is summer here, but once the heat hits, then we realize that it was the winter because it is starting to get pretty warm, and so it's time that we move on. And so what we've decided is, if you look at our past videos here, we've mapped out these different trips in RV Trip Wizard, and we finally figured out which trip we're going to take. Now, before I show that to you and go through that, I just wanted to mention that if you didn't notice, I mean, we are using RV Trip Wizard, and I have been talking about that because, you know, it is an affiliate that we have. But one of the things that I really wanted to do with this channel was to get discounts for our subscribers. And RV Trip Wizard is the first one that has actually come through with an offer of 25% off. So if you use the coupon that we have noted in our description below, which is Tigner25, when you check out, you get 25% off the first year's subscription for RV Life or RV Life Pro, which is what the main company for RV Trip Wizard. So you get all the things that come with that. So anyway, one of the reasons I brought this up is because as we go forward on our trip, where we have decided to go back to Georgia, and we are going to have to come up with a lot of extra money here, and we have been working on that, and I think we've got a lot of things covered here. So as we move forward, we started thinking, well, you know, as we're going along, and we've got our gas covered, but there's a lot of different activities that we want to kind of do and show, you know, do videos on and things like that, and all of that takes money and time. And so we've been kind of contemplating how we need to orchestrate this whole thing as we move forward with just the channel in general. So we do have our affiliates listed in the description below, and if you can use any of those, that's great. If it's not something that you need, then that's fine. It doesn't matter. We're just looking at it like if it's something that you could use, then, and we get some kind of credit for it, then that's great, you know, and if you help us out that way, it's great. We are up to over 600 subscribers now, so we are slowly climbing, and before we can do anything with YouTube, we have to be up to 1,000. So all of our other numbers are great, but we're just kind of got to get that last little bit done. That's just how the game's played. I'm also looking at things like Patreon. I see a lot of people doing that, or buy me a cup of coffee. I don't really know, and I don't necessarily like asking for money all the time, but that's probably why I didn't do very good as a business owner. So I tend to give things away more than I ever made money at it. So anyway, but you know, as the reality of life is, things are getting a lot more expensive. So, and we have a pretty cool trip, I think, you know, outlined here. So if you look down here in RV Trip Wizard, I wanted to point out that I've gone through and I've just started adding all these things, and mainly we joined the Elks Club, and so we've, you know, the stays that I've got kind of projected across here is staying at mostly elks, but we're going to, as we get closer to certain areas, we've found some places along the beach we can stay. So some of this will kind of be modified as we go. This is going to be for a total of 180 days, and you can see down here in the bottom, in this little area right here, that we're only got 133 nights defined so far. So we've got more nights to stay, and nothing is going to be necessarily in concrete. So we're going to kind of move things around. And you know, if you look at our website, tigneradventures.com, we do have a link on there that's a map, and it shows this actual map of our trip and the dates that we're going to be there and things like that. So if you happen to be in the same area, man, we'd love to meet up with you and you know, maybe swap horror stories or whatever, you know, but at least introduce ourselves to you and get to know you guys a little bit. So that's always the exciting thing to us. We're people persons, we're persons that are people. Anyway, we like meeting people, and so with that said, you know, as we move around the country, we always love to meet new people and find out more about them, and also if they've got some ideas on things, we love to hear those also. But anyway, with that said, let's go back to the map here. One of the things I started putting in here, like if I look at this Indian Bridge Rock Dispersed Camping, I actually went in here now, and I've started going in and finding all these different places to go and do when we're staying in certain areas. So this particular one I just wanted to point out because it had some, it's a dispersed camping area, but you know, the GPS coordinates are right here, but as I started reading things, it says, you know, those aren't necessarily going to get you there, but follow these instructions, you can get there. So I kind of put that in the comments here. I've also found this Gila Cliff Dwellings in Silver City, New Mexico. So it's kind of north of there. And so I've started putting notes into each one of our camping areas so that when we're actually sitting there, we can actually look at things that we've already looked up. Now, if you look at the top of my screen, and let's get rid of that. If we look at the top of the screen here, you can see I've got RV Life or RV Life Trip Wizard right here. This is my first tab, but I have all these other tabs going across the screen here, and if I just kind of stop there for a second, so all places in Arkansas. So I'm just utilizing this this website here, and these are all the cool places in Arkansas, for example. And what I've done, it's probably not all of them, it's just some of them here. We're continuing looking up things, and how I came across this one is I searched on, you know, quirky things in Arkansas, and then quirky things in Texas. Okay, as we're going across the whole United States back east and everything, we're going through a number of different states. And so if we go back up here, we've got all places that are Arkansas, but I've got Texas and I've got Arizona, you know, so I can kind of go through, and then if you look here, this is the one I was pointing out. So this was the map for this particular one, and I just kind of opened up, you know, all these different tabs that I could look at things, and this I just kind of dove into this one to look more into this one here. This is our first stop there, kind of thing. So anyway, if I go back here, and this was all places in New Mexico is what this one was. So, you know, each one of these places I'm just kind of mapping out and trying to get a list of places that we're going to go and what we're actually going to do. So let's, I'm just kind of zooming out here just a little bit. So basically what our trip is going to do is we're going to take off. We're going to go to Oregon Pipes National Monument, which is our first stop. So we are leaving today, and today meaning when this video comes out, because it's Friday night and we're leaving Saturday morning now. So this video will come out tomorrow morning. So on Saturday morning we're taking off, and we're going to go down here to Oregon Pipes National Monument, and then we're going to be doing some dispersed camping there for at least a couple days, and then we're going to go over to somewhere over here by Deming is over here, but the Indian Rocks is over here. So we might, I'm not sure how we're going to do this yet, but we're working our way up here to White Sands, New Mexico. That's a national park up there, and then over here is Carlsbad Cavern, and we're just kind of, whoops, I'm getting a little too zoomed in there. We got Big Bend National Park down here. We've got San Antonio is a pretty cool place. We've been before, but we're going to go there and do some sightseeing, and Padre Island, and then we're moving all the way across this lower section of the Gulf, and we've got Elks Lodges that we're staying at. That's one of the privileges of being an Elks member, and so we can stay at a lot of these different Elks Lodges, but there's also a lot of beach parking along here that we can kind of do, and so we may do some of that. We want to spend a little bit more time by the water if we can, and then we'll work our way over here into Warner Robins is where our daughter lives, and we'll be there. I've kind of set up for 2 months at this point, so hopefully that's not too much of a shock to her, but we may do some other things while we're there too. We're kind of thinking that if we're staying there, then they could watch the motorhome. Maybe we can go on a cruise. You know, we haven't done that for a little while because of everything going on. So we might go and leave and go do a cruise or whatever. But anyway, we can kind of do things. So anyway, that's just kind of our big trip. You know, clear back here to Atlanta, Georgia, into Georgia, and then up into North Carolina, up into Kentucky, over into Tennessee. We're just kind of making this whole big round loop, and we're going to actually end up, if I zoom back over here, we're actually looking to end up here in Arizona. We're going to be in Sedona for a little while, and then we're going to go up to the west rim of the Grand Canyon. So we've never been to the west rim. We've been to the north rim, or the main national park one. The west rim is one that is at the Indian reservation. They have that glass walkway that you walk out on. Plus they have some helicopter rides that we may look at doing something for that, because I think that would be a lot of fun. I used to fly in helicopters all the time. Ninette's never been in one, so I've always kind of wanted to do something where we could go out on a sightseeing thing in a helicopter, and I think that she would probably enjoy the Grand Canyon a lot. So anyway, and then we just work our way back to Sundance RV Resort, where we're at tonight, and we're leaving tomorrow morning. We do have we have lined up a work camping job here starting October 15th of the fall, and so we've got 180 days to go out and have all kinds of fun and see the country. And so if you guys see things looking through here and you go, you know what, you really need to go to this place, because we've been talking to a few people, and when we mentioned that, for example, we're going to go to Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky, they say, oh, you got to go to Diamond, I think it's Diamond Cave or something like that also, and you got to do this also, you know. So people are giving us lots of hints on things to do, and I'm putting those into the RV Trip Wizard into this, so I can just monitor all of it, and then that way when I put it into the GPS and it actually takes us there, when we get there we just hit a button, I can see all the comments, and I know things that we can do instead of waiting till we get there and then kind of twiddling our thumbs trying to figure out what we're going to do. We want to spend some extra time just sitting around. Like I said, you know, down here at the bottom of the screen I've got 133 nights defined. Well, we've still got to put another 100 or another almost 50 nights in there, so we've got to come up with a lot more nights as we go around the country. And that's staying 60 nights, I think it was, at our daughter's, and we're probably not going to necessarily stay that long, but that was our buffer to kind of keep things, because when I made the reservations for Mammoth Cave National Park, I did have to come up with an actual date, and so we're kind of have a buffer on both sides at this point. You know, I really hate it when I gotta actually make reservations somewhere, because that's not we don't necessarily do that very well. And so we've always liked dispersed camping, but when you get back to the east, then things, you know, start getting a little tight on dispersed camping. So one of the things that we will be using also that I don't have on here right now is Boondockers Welcome. So we can go out to certain areas of the different states or whatever. Plus we have the Elks Lodge, and they are all over the place. That's a pretty nice little setup, I'll tell you. It has a membership fee, but once you get your membership all taken care of, which we did here in Yuma, then basically, I guess they call you a wild elk, because you're out traveling around, you're visiting all the other Elks Lodges and things. So that'd be kind of fun. We'll kind of see what that's all about, and see what's going on there. And unfortunately, if you're not, that does require you to be a U.S. citizen to belong to the Elks Lodge. So if you're interested in that, it's a pretty neat little setup, but you do have to be a citizen. So anyway, I think that kind of covers what we're doing here. Hopefully that'll give you an idea, and maybe, you know, we'll see you down the road somewhere as we're going around here, or, you know, whatever. So we have got a message from a couple different people saying they're in certain areas, and to look them up when we get in that area. And that's what's so fun about RV lifestyle. So that's the thing we like anyway. You don't have to be that kind of person to be a full-time RVer, but that's the type of people that we are, and we enjoy that. So anyway, so again, you know, if there's some things that you can give us some pointers on and things like that, please don't hesitate. Make some comments, help spread the word around what we're doing. You know, we're still shooting to trying to get our subscribers. We have to get up to 1,000 for YouTube. So, and the more subscribers we get, the better deals that I think we can get from different suppliers of whatever. You know, if it's not just subscriptions like RV Trip Wizard, then maybe different products and things like that. We can get some discounts, and the idea is to get these discounts for you guys. You guys are our subscribers. You take the time to watch us, and we do appreciate that a lot. And I just want to come up with ways that we can give back to the community. So that's basically our goal. So anyway, with that said, thanks for watching. We'll just plan on meeting you down the road, and we're gonna start doing quite a few videos now as we start traveling around. So just kind of stay tuned as to where we're at on that. But anyway, we'll just see you down the road, or if not, then for sure, hopefully on our next video. So take care.